Hello, this is John from TC Math Academy, and in this particular video, we're going to be talking about linear systems, and this is the kind of stuff that you'll definitely learn in like pre-algebra, certainly algebra 1, but systems are hugely important in mathematics, and you'll see it at almost every level of math once you get beyond like middle school math. So once you start studying algebra, okay, to include pre-algebra, you start to understand, hey, what is a system and how do you solve a system, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a problem that, of course, relates to linear systems. And what is the question? Well, the question is the point 2, 4, this ordered pair, this coordinate 2, 4, is this the solution to this system? Now, I don't want to give you any hints here because I want to give you a full opportunity on how you can answer this question. So obviously the answer is either going to be yes or no. Yes, it is a solution, or no, it's not. But either way, justify your answer. So go ahead and put that information into the comment section. I'm going to show you the correct answer. Then, of course, we're going to talk about exactly how we can solve this problem. Also, if you need math help with the course you're taking, test prep or homeschooling, make sure to check out my math help program at tcmathacademy.com. You can find a link to it in the description below. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so let me go and show you the answer here. And then, of course, we'll just start to kind of build out some ways we could approach this problem. But the answer is either going to be yes or no. So is 2, 4 the solution? In fact, it is. Yes, indeed, it is the solution. So if you got that right, let's give you a nice happy face and A plus a 100% and a few stars so you could tell your friends and family that you know exactly how to deal with a linear system when you see one. Now, systems are again, a huge topic in mathematics. And let me just show you very, very quickly um, what systems kind of represent. So here is the x-axis, here is the y-axis. So if we notice here, we have y minus x is equal to 2, and then 2y plus x is equal to 10. What we really are dealing with here is the equation of two lines, two linear equations, okay? I.e., these are the equations of lines, okay? So graphically, algebraically, the equations of these lines look like this, but we could graph these lines. Now, we don't know exactly how, we could certainly graph these lines, but we don't know how these particular lines look. But let's suppose one of these lines went this way. We'll call that line 1. And let's suppose another line went this way, and we'll call that line 2. The system, okay, this right here would be a representation of a linear system, but the solution, if in fact a linear system has a solution, is the intersection point of these two lines, a specific XY ordered pair coordinate that is lies on both this blue line and this yellow line. Okay, there's only one point, and that point, in fact, would be the solution to the system. Now, you probably heard me say, but let me just repeat. I said if a system has a solution, okay, now why wouldn't a system, why isn't it that all systems have solutions? Well, you could have one line like this, and you could have another line parallel to that line right here. In this case, this is an example of where there is no solution because there's no intersection of these two lines. So again, systems is a very huge topic, and how you solve systems is very critical as well. Now, if you're like, boy, I need help with this, I'm going to suggest that you check out like my pre-algebra, probably like my Algebra 1 course. I will teach you everything you need to know about linear systems, which is a lot. Now, let's kind of go back to this problem. So obviously, this point right here, okay, well, the point, I believe, what is it, 2, 4, is in fact the solution to this system. So basically, we might be saying to ourselves, well, how can we, determine this? Well, we have some options here, right? We could graph this line and graph this line and look to see if in fact they cross at 2, 4. That's what we call the graphing method to solve a linear system. And it's one you need to know. So when you first start learning this stuff, you need to have some graph paper. You got to be very good at graphing lines. and then, taking a look at where the intersection of those two lines occur, if in fact they do cross, right? Now, that is an okay method, but it's really not that practical. So we want to use algebraic methods to solve a linear system. And what we're really talking about here is something called the substitution method and or the uh, elimination, let me just put it this way, or linear combination method. Okay, so these are kind of our two main algebraic methods used to solve a system. So I could solve this system, see what I get for the answer, and be like, hey, if my answer is 2, 4, then in fact it's a solution. But there's a better way, a better approach for this particular problem. So let's go and take a look at that right now. So this is something that you definitely need to keep in mind if you are taking any math exam, most especially if you're taking something like a multiple choice math exam. Okay, so let's suppose this is problem number 9 on some test, and it said, okay, here is your system. What is the right answer? Let's say you had A, B, C, and maybe D, right, as different options. And let's just make up some answers here. 0, -3, 5, 2, something like this, right? So you have 4 choices. Now, in this case, you're like, okay, what's the first thing you should do? Well, if you are taking any multiple choice math exam, what you need to do is to say, okay, awesome, I absolutely should get every single problem correct when you have an equation going on and possible answers, because what you want to do is just check these solutions. Okay, of course you could solve this, get the answer, and then identify which is the right answer, but there is a better approach. Okay, and that is namely to plug in the values into the equation and see which ones work. Okay, so I'll just kind of erase this right here. So to see if 2, 4 is in fact the solution to this system, what we need to understand is 2, 4 is what? Well, it's an XY point, what we call an ordered pair. Okay, it's a pair of numbers and there's a specific order. The first value here, 2, is the X coordinate, and the second is the Y coordinate right here, 4. Okay, an ordered pair, it represents a point, a coordinate on the XY axis. So here, X is 2 and Y is 4. So if we replace these Y's and X's with these values and we check to see if in fact these equations balance, okay, if these are in fact the solutions to these respective equations with these values, then this point is indeed the solution. So let's go and plug in 2 and 4, 2, 4, which is the XY. We'll plug in 2 for every X we see and 4 for every Y we see, and we'll see what we have. And you have to do this for both equations, okay? So it's not just enough to be like, well, I'll check these values in this equation. No, when it comes to a system or any other equation, you have to solve it for check for all equations that you have. All right, so y minus x is equal to 2, and then we have 2y plus x. Again, y was 4. Okay, remember, we're checking the point 2, 4. So our y value is 4, and our x value is 2. So for the y, I'll plug in a 4. For this x, I'll plug in a 2. So we have 4 minus 2. Is that equal to 2? Because we have the equation y minus x is equal to 2. Well, we look at this simple equation. 4 minus 2 indeed is 2. 2 is equal to 2 is a true statement. So therefore, these values are the solution for this equation. But it's not enough just to check one equation when it comes to systems. You got to check on that point on the other line as well. Okay, so let's go over here and we'll plug in for y of 4 and we'll plug in an x here for 2. So we have 2 times 4 plus 2, is that equal to 10? Well, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 2, is that equal to 10? Well, indeed it is. 10 is equal to 10. That is true. So these values over here work on this equation. So because the point here that we're checking, 2, 4, satisfies both equations, indeed, that is the solution to the system. Now, if you took the time, you're like, well, I'm just going to solve this using a substitution method or a linear combination method. That's super, good as well. But I don't want you to forget that when you're dealing with multiple choice questions, or when you're checking, when you have a potential answer, it's much easier just to plug it in. So for here, you could just add these equations. Okay, right. You can use basically the linear combination or elimination method. You would get 3y, and then here these x's go away, equal to 12. So 3y is equal to 12. So divide both sides of the equation by 3. So y is going to be equal to 4. That looks good right there because this y is 4. Then I just plug in that y right there. I'll replace that y with the 4. So 4 minus x is equal to 2. And then, of course, I would just subtract 4 from both sides. You get negative x is equal to negative 2. And then x, of course, would be equal to 2, which is what we have. So that's a very direct way. This is a very easy system to solve. But again, you want to really pay attention to, how a problem is being asked. Okay, it's not, the question here is not, hey, solve the system. It is, hey, is this value the solution? So really, the goal of this problem for whoever designed it, of course, I designed it, but like on a math exam, or your teacher or whoever else, they want to see that you understand how to validate a solution. What does it mean? Not only just with systems, but any equation that you're dealing with in mathematics. Now, again, if you need help with this kind of stuff, I do have additional videos on my YouTube channel about systems, but I'm going to strongly encourage you to check out like my full Algebra 1 course if you happen to be in Algebra 2 systems or in Algebra 2. Well, actually, I teach systems in Pre-Algebra, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and even Pre-Calculus as well. Okay, so hopefully this video helps you out. If that's the case, don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.